All right, guys. So today's story is about how Democrat fear-mongering, Democrats being in bed with teachers' unions, Democrats pushing lockdowns, Democrats pushing mandates have come back to bite them in the butt in two of the major cities in this country, Chicago and New York. Okay, now let's first start with Chicago. As Chicago's teachers union, right? The teachers union that Democrats are in bed with, that paid the Democrats millions and millions and millions of dollars to give them money, right? In the COVID stimulus package, just for the teachers to not really want to work. Okay, they last night voted to not come to school, right? Because they think it is too dangerous. So they want to return back to remote learning. So before I get into this, watch this clip of the Democrats basically getting upset that the teachers unions have basically turned on them and their goals to keep schools open. Take a look.
Breaking news overnight in Chicago, where the third largest public school system in the country has followed through on its promise to cancel all classes today after the teachers union voted to refuse to show up for work in person. Teachers said they were concerned about a lack of safety measures. They wanted to go online. But now, with no remote learning, hundreds of thousands of children are caught in the middle just hours after President Biden said this.
We provided the states with $130 billion, with a B, billion dollars to specifically keep our students safe and schools open. Funding for ventilation systems in the schools, social distancing in classrooms, even larger classrooms, on buses and everything from bus drivers to buses. So I encourage the states and school districts to use the funding that you still have to protect your children and keep the schools open.
Chicago had actually resumed in-person classes on Monday, and school officials insist that conditions are safe for in-person learning in class. But this standoff could last for weeks. CNN's Omar Jimenez starts us off from Chicago.
Well, this vote from the Chicago Teachers Union triggers a cancellation of class, which is what the school district warned would happen if this vote went through. In total, 73% of the rank and file members of the Chicago Teachers Union voted in favor of this. In response, the school district called this an unfortunate decision and said they now worry about the well-being of the students. They also said teachers will not be compensated for this. Now, part of what the Chicago Teachers Union has been so concerned with is they don't believe the current measures in place make it safe enough for students and staff to be in person, especially amid record COVID-19 case numbers among students, staff members, and the city of Chicago over recent weeks. The school district, however, has maintained that class in person is safe, saying that there is no evidence of widespread transmission, and the school's CEO, Pedro Martinez, arguing that this current tactic of negotiation isn't practical.
And I have been very, very clear that it is not practical to have a district-wide decision when there is such a variance across our city of how COVID is affecting us.
It feels like Groundhog Day. CTU leadership is compelling its membership to make a decision that will harm hundreds of thousands of Chicago families who rely upon CPS for their daily needs, for their education, for their nutrition, for their safety. That's real harm.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I shouldn't be laughing about this because students are actually suffering. Kids are suffering because of this. But I gotta say, ain't it something that we're always seeing Democrat policies turn on the Democrats, come back to bite them in the butt, right? Whether that's progressive criminal justice reform, whether it's the mandates, the lockdowns, the fear-mongering, which is what's happening right here in Chicago, okay? These teachers unions are saying, hey, it's too dangerous for us to work. It's too dangerous for us to go back to work. Therefore, we should do remote learning, okay? And listen, here's the thing. I vehemently disagree with them. However, the Democrats all this time have basically been in agreement with the teachers union. One, letting them keep schools closed as long as they did in the first place, right? And having remote learning, but also coming out here and fear-mongering about the virus, When you come out here every single day and fearmonger about the virus, what happens is that you're going to scare people, right? And people are going to not feel safe going into work. Now, a lot of these teachers, they probably just don't want to work, right? They probably just don't want to go into the classroom. They don't want to deal with kids, and they're just using it as an excuse. But what I'm saying is that the Democrats in their rhetoric has given them this excuse. And the fact that the Democrats has been in bed with the teachers unions has shown the teachers unions that, hey, they have power over you. The teachers unions have power over the Democrats. The teachers union says jump. The Democrats say how high, right? Imagine this, right? The teachers union gave the Democrats millions of dollars, okay, during political campaign season. Millions of dollars. They are one of the largest funders of the Democrats. Democrats turn around and then give the teachers unions in the form of public school money, taxpayer money, billions of dollars to stay open. Teachers unions turn around and say, oh, no. We don't have to go back to school if we don't want to go back to in-person learning if we don't want to, right? I don't care how much money you give us. You're going to give us this money and we're going to stay at home. We're going to do what we want because we own you, right? We own you. This is how money in politics works, right? We're witnessing it right now. Now, the Democrats want to act like they're mad and upset about it, but I'm like, hey, this is what you signed up for. This is what you signed up for. And now all of a sudden the Democrats are acknowledging that, oh yeah, remote learning harms kids, right? It harms students. And it disproportionately affects so-called minority students, okay? Because they don't have the means to actually hire tutors to make up for the fact that they don't have in-person learning. Now all of a sudden they're going with that argument, the same argument that the right has been using this whole time. When we're like, no, schools shouldn't be closed. Right? This ain't necessarily scientifically sound, okay? And now the Democrats, oh no, it's safe. Ain't it funny how that works? Ain't it funny how that works? Ain't it funny how it works? But hey, maybe Miss Lori Dirtyfoot here, since she has the cojones to fire police in a crime-ridden city over their vaccination status, maybe she should just fire these teachers, right? Every teacher that voted in favor of remote learning, you're gone. You're out. See ya, right? Since you're in a position to be firing public workers, okay? Why don't you fire the teachers? Matter of fact, just fire the teachers unions, right? A lot of your problems will be solved. But another city that is suffering from the Democrat policies, that is now trying to beg people to go back to work so that his city can open up, is Mayor Eric Adams, who actually triggered a lot of people on the left this week as he made some comments about low wage workers suffering from the fact that white collar workers are remote learning. And I want to go ahead and play that clip for you guys and see what the left got outraged about, and then we're going to talk about it.
If my businesses are sharing with their employees, you are part of the ecosystem of this city. My low-skilled workers, my cooks, my dishwashers, my messengers, my shoe shine people, those who work in Dunkin' Donuts, they don't have the academic skills to sit in a corner office. They need this. We are in this together.
So yeah, the left got triggered by this. And the reason why they got triggered by it is because they didn't like the fact that Eric Adams called those workers low skill. But they're kind of missing the overall point of what he's saying. What he's saying is that these people, they depend on people that work in offices going back to work, right? Because those people, when they go back to work, they tend to spend money on lunch breaks, okay, getting their shoes shine, participating in all types of goods and services that these people depend on, right? That's what he's saying. And he's 100% right about that. But what Eric Adams is missing, and I'm kind of disappointed in him because I actually had some faith in Eric Adams, right? I thought that he might be able to turn it around, okay? What he's missing is that the reason why people don't want to return back to work in person is because of you Democrat policies. When you go out here and you fearmonger about the virus, right? And you push these mandates, that is not going to incentivize people to go back to work, right? When you go out and say vaccine and testing, which is what this man is saying, you're not incentivizing people to go back to work, right? Which means that your city cannot open up as long as you keep pushing that, right? That is what really annoys me about Eric Adams. I'm like, bro, your heart is in the right place. I know you want your city to stay open, but your messaging is just wrong. You need to come out here and say, all right, we're done playing these games. No more mandates. We're going to focus on testing, but you're going back to work, right? You're going back to work, okay? We're getting rid of these mandates. We're opening back up our city. We're done with this, okay? We're going to do what Ron DeSantis is doing, okay? We're done with it. That's what you got to say. We're moving on past this. We will figure out a way to live with this. Go back to work, right? Get a job and work. Get a job and go to work. Get a job and go to work. Get a job and go to work. That's what you need to be saying. That's what you need to be saying. If you really want your city to open back up. Because otherwise, everything else that you're saying really is just playing into why these people don't want to go to work. Why they don't want to go into the office. Which you have acknowledged that, hey, that's hurting low wage, because low skill apparently is offensive. Low wage workers, blue collar workers. That's who is hurting. That's who is hurting. Again, I agree with them. But the actual policies and your rhetoric, in my opinion, is not conducive to actually opening the city back up. You can't keep fear mongering. You have to tell people, look, we just have to live with this. We need to live our lives and move on from there. Right? We need people to come back to this city. We need tourists. We need business activity. We don't need to be encouraging businesses to shut down. We don't need to be encouraging mandates. We don't need to be discriminating against people. That's what you need to be saying. But again, like I said, these Democrats, they're suffering from their own policies. They're suffering for things that they signed up for and that they pushed on themselves. That's what they're suffering from. That's what you're seeing happening in New York and Chicago. So, hey, you made your bed. I guess you got to lay in it. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.